So, last night I watched Ladybugs, 1992, Rodney Dangerfield, Jonathan Brandis, um, Jackie, um, it's a soccer movie. Um, wow, I used to watch that movie a lot when I was a kid, and I liked it. I remember I really enjoyed it, especially the soccer parts, because obviously, me being a soccer player, I just thought it was so cool that there was a soccer movie out. That was probably one of the first ones that I remember coming out, one of the first soccer movies. Um, but needless to say, I watched it yesterday, and, after watching it, I say needless to say, but I think, in my opinion, Rodney Dangerfield had no business being in that damn movie. Um, when you're acting about around a bunch of kids, I just his his shtick, or I guess just the way he is, his personality. To me, it creeps me out, and it made me pretty sick. I thought it was pretty cringy. Like, for instance, when he told Penny Pester, after she took her hair down and took her glasses off, and um she looked better or whatever, um and he told her if he was younger he'd ask her out on a date. Ugh, man, I just wouldn't say that to a kid. But that's the 90s, man. You could get away with a lot in the 90s that you don't get away with now, which rightfully so, in my opinion. But and it was almost like just watching Rodney Dangerfield do like his stand-up routine in the movie. It was so weird. It was like his dialogue, all of his dialogue was just stand-up comedy, and it didn't work, in my opinion. It didn't fit in well at all, in my opinion. And it was so cringy watching him and his fiance interact in that movie. As you can tell, or when you watch the movie, you can tell that they don't kiss once, which, that wouldn't be a big deal to me, whether or not people kiss in a movie or not. It's no big deal. But the fact that it was Rodney Dangerfield, I could just imagine that female actress, that poor female actress, when she got signed on to do the movie, was like, there is absolutely no way I'm kissing that man. I could just see that happening, because that man is just absolutely disgusting. Ugh. So that's that. Now, the soccer parts of the movie. Absolutely cringe. Oh my God. I was seeing, I was watching the technique of, Jonathan Brandis, and, obviously he had a stunt double, because that Jonathan Brandis looked like he had never played soccer a day in his life. But whoever his stunt double was, again, being a soccer player and watching the technique, was just so cringe. And watching the technique of all the kids and their stunt doubles was just, you watch those kids do those moves in this movie was made in 92, so you see those moves, and they're so, like, today, in today's standards, those moves that they did in that movie were just totally ridiculous and totally rudimentary and totally basic in today's standards, and would not work on a soccer field ever. And so it just, I don't know. I mean, what people can do with a soccer ball today, just is leaps and bounds, light years ahead of what they did back in that movie. Again, it was just really, really hard to watch, being a soccer player. To compare it to another movie, The Big Green. The Big Green came out maybe about 3 or 4 years later. And just the overall, you know, quality of that movie, and the technique that you saw with all the stunt doubles, and the soccer players on the field in that movie. You could tell that in the big green that they really took, they really, you know worked a little harder to try to make the soccer action look real and authentic. And in my opinion, it did, especially since that movie was filmed in my hometown here in Austin, and I had actually played against some of those players um in that movie. So I knew right away that that movie was way authentic. But Ladybugs, you know soccer the soccer parts were trash. Rodney Dangerfield was cringy as hell, but I did like the story. And so that was really the part of the movie that I enjoyed the most. You know, that kind of thing happens all the time in the corporate world. You want to, or that kind of story is a genuine story in my opinion. I think you have a fiance, you want to marry her, you want to get a big promotion so you can pay for the wedding, and be able to take care of her and stuff. Um, you know, Totally real and everything like that. And sometimes you have a boss that's a piece of crap, and that won't let you get your promotion unless you win the whole soccer title, which in my opinion, that has nothing to do with whether or not someone gets a promotion or not. You should get a promotion with how hard you work at your job, not how good you coach a soccer team. But anyways, I like the movie for the most part. I like the story. um you know, just take Rodney Dangerfield out of it, put another actor in there, and have better quality production on your soccer scenes, man. Anyways, that's all I got. Thanks for watching.